I have people ask me all the time, like, what do you do with the tomatoes after you dry them? And we grow these Principe tomatoes that we really love to dehydrate and, use for cooking later on. And they are just such a flavorful tomato, and they dry really good. So, a quick video of one way that we do use them up. First thing we do is we actually vacuum pack them and throw them in the freezer, and it really keeps them for a long time. But the first thing you do is we're throwing a bowl of water in the microwave to bring it to a boil. In the meantime, it's funny, a couple of weeks ago I got a email from Whirlpool, and actually they asked for my address, and they sent me out this really beautiful throw to have, and they thanked me for doing the video I did about installing this microwave, and sent me a card with it also, signed by their whole social media department there, and I thought that was real nice of them to do. But anyhow, you can see the water is up to a boil now, and time to just take it out. And the only thing this is for is to put the tomatoes in to rehydrate them. And like I said before, we like to vacuum pack everything that we dehydrate. It tends to help us stay fresher longer, and also just throw it in the freezer until we use it, because it really doesn't take up much space. So you just have to open up the bag there, and you can see everything's still moist and stuck to the bag a little bit there, and just put them in that bowl of water there. And we're gonna leave them for pretty close to 4 hours, just to rehydrate and get juicy and soft again. If you try to eat them like this, they're just an unbelievable flavor powerhouse, but they're really rubbery and chewy. So by putting them in the boiling water and you just breaking them apart there a little bit and letting them sit, it brings them right back to a really great tasting tomato. So tonight what we're doing is we're just going to cook them up with some pasta. We're using spaghettis this time, and some spinach, and that's basically a little bit of garlic there, a piece from my garden, just to add a little tiny bit of flavor there. So first thing we do is we drain the tomatoes, and you can see that water's got some color to it, but it really doesn't have much flavor that's really worth using for anything else. So we just drain them, and then my wife's just cutting up the piece of garlic there just to add a little bit of flavor. So she minces that up nice and small, and gets a pan out there for putting everything in. Throw a little bit of extra virgin olive oil in the bottom of the pan, and a couple nice pats of butter there to give it a little bit of flavor also. And look at the spaghetti box, and you take the shortest cooking time that they give on the box, and you actually subtract a minute from it when you cook the spaghettis for this actual recipe. If you cook it the full amount of time, then they'll get soft by the time they're cooked with the pasta and the tomatoes. So we've used all kinds of pasta for this, and tonight we're just using spaghettis because that's what we had a bunch of. So you get the water boiling real good there, and you throw a little bit of salt in it, and just kind of stir them up. And at the same time, we're just starting to heat under that other pan there with the olive oil and melting the butter and stuff.
Set timer for 8 minutes.
Yeah, my wife loves using that Google display thing there for a kitchen timer, because you just have to talk to it to tell it to start timing and stop, so that actually does work good. So let's throw the little bit of garlic in the pan there with the butter and the oil that's heating up now. And then when I turned around and I wasn't looking, my wife actually dumped the tomatoes in the pan there, and I kind of told her she should have waited for...
People know how to put friggin' tomatoes in a pan.
Okay. And that was the reaction that I received. So anyhow, now that the tomatoes are cooking up there a little bit, we got a big tub of this fresh spinach. They had some real nice stuff the last trip to Costco, so she's just gonna heap that in there as much as she can get in the pan to start out with, to just kind of have with the meal. When she puts the spinach in, she actually puts a couple spoonsful of the hot pasta water on top of it to start getting it a little bit softer, and to start helping it to cook a little bit. So there it is, and now it's just time to put the top on, or put a little salt, pepper in there first. And you just put the top on and let it simmer for a little while the pasta is still cooking. Every once in a while, just open it up and give it a little bit of a stir there as it cooks down. It's really starting to smell good. You can really smell the garlic now. Everything's still cooking. Nice thing about that Google is you can actually see what time is left on the timer. So now the spinach is getting cooked down pretty good there, you can see, and she actually decides that she wants to put a little bit more in there, just not quite enough for the meal tonight. So a couple more handsful in there, and this stuff cooks down really fast and quick, and it basically cooks down to nothing. So you just stir that up a little bit and put the top on and let that simmer just a little bit longer to get that softened up too. So the spaghettis are just about done now. Just about time to drain them. And like I said before, you use a minute less than the shortest cooking time that they give you on the box, to just so they don't get squishy on you and squishy and starchy. So now it's time to just drain the pasta. Now we've also done basically the same thing, not using pasta in it. We've used if you can find a nice zucchini and you have a mandolin, you can slice it up into those zucchini noodles. You don't have to boil them or anything beforehand. You can just kind of throw them in the pot and let them saute with everything else. But if you're trying to avoid carbs and stuff, that's really a good option for using up these tomatoes also. So there it is. Basically everything's cooked down in that pot, and it's time to just dump the spaghettis in for the last minute or two of cooking there. And it's basically a pot full that will probably be eaten for 2 nights now. So put a little bit more olive oil on top of there, a little bit more flavor with that extra virgin olive oil, and then just kind of toss it all together and just cook it down for just another minute or so. Let everything get really good and mixed together there. That's basically it. It's like a you can make it in under half an hour. It's like 15-minute meal once you got the water boiling there, and basically it costs under $3 for you get a good 4 servings out of it. So it's a pretty good way to use the tomatoes up, and actually it's a pretty cheap meal to eat. So there it is. We're just gonna throw it on a plate and go back and grate a little bit of Parmesan cheese on top of it. Get some nice aged Parmesan and just just grate. Use a microplane and just grate a little bit on it, and really does make a nice meal, and it's another one of those comfort food meals. And then in the end, we still have a little piece of that pumpkin pie left my wife made the other day, so I'm gonna finish off with that. So I just thought I'd do a quick video showing you how we use up these dehydrated tomatoes in the winter, and they really are super tasty. Promise you I won't do another cooking video for a while. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.